Good evening and welcome back here at 5:30. I'm Kyle Linsky.
And I'm Paula Toti. Governor Mike DeWine says that he wants to make distracted driving as unacceptable as drunk driving.
The Ohio Distracted Driving Task Force recommends some major changes to current laws which will affect all of us who drive here in Ohio. David Winter joins us now live with much more. David, good evening.
Well, good evening, Kyle. The distracted driving rules vary from state to state, even from city to city, but basically anywhere in this area, if you are driving and you are on the phone right next to police officers, they're not going to pull you over unless you're doing something else illegal. That's called a secondary offense. What this new task force would like to do is make distracted driving a primary offense. So if you are next to a police officer and he sees you talking on the phone, for instance, he can pull you over for distracted driving.
That's when we lost our 21-year-old daughter, Maria, in what was ruled a distracted driving accident.
At one point, our 20-year-old son stood in the ICU hall between the room where his father lay already dying.
Their stories painfully told at a news conference where the Ohio Distracted Driving Task Force laid out its recommendations. Increase education, increase research, increase fines and points for violations, and make distracted driving a primary offense.
A person can drive down the road with a phone in front of their face, and troopers, deputies, police officers can't do anything about it.
If the state legislature does take action on the task force recommendations to make distracted driving a primary offense, Cincinnati PD's Ryan Jones says he would definitely pull people over. But he says the law needs to be broad so people cannot use loopholes to get out of tickets like he says they do now.
And the person comes and says, well, I wasn't emailing or texting, I was doing something that's not prohibited by the law. We have no way to prove that they weren't.
Like using GPS or posting on Facebook. On a short drive around town, we certainly witness people talking on their phones, but also putting on makeup, with dog on lap, texting, eating, and who knows what else. It's a cultural change that most agree needs to happen, but most don't know how to fix, even for themselves.
Do you think you should change your behavior a little bit?
I do. I could get better.
Why don't you?
Well, I think you don't think about it at the time.
Well, to change the law, obviously, it's going to take an act of legislature. That's going to take at least months before something like that happens. The governor, though, was able to change the rules immediately, so there are stricter rules for people who are driving state-owned vehicles right now for distracted driving. By the way, the statistics bear out that during this newscast, at least one person in the state of Ohio is going to get in an accident due to distracted driving. Paula, Kyle, back to you.
Wow, that is crazy to think about there, David. Thank you so much. A recent AT&T survey shows that 81% of people text and drive. 81%. 60% of us email and drive, and 50% use social media and drive. Ohio statistics show that from 2013 to 2018, there were 80,000 distracted driving crashes. 3,000 people were seriously hurt. 268 people died in those crashes.